imagination. Good day, ladies and gents. I'm Emilio A. Colon. Welcome to the EAC Show, episode 121, checking in from sunny South Florida. I'm going to be Dolo for today's show. So much to talk about, pretty much to cover. We got NCAA ups and downs. March Madness has been crazy. I am a fourth generation gambler, and March Madness is pretty much like paradise for us and my family. So to be honest with you, this weekend was awful. Saturday and Sunday couldn't get any worse. And then Monday I go on a slate where I go 14-3 on Monday's game. So thank God for Mondays, because Monday was a beautiful day. So looking forward to some NCAA basketball coming up this weekend. We're going to touch base on that here in the episode. We're also going to discuss the excitement for me and my family when it comes to Major League Baseball. Big Met fans, as you can see, always in that blue. And we get, here in my family, we get super, super excited about the New York Mets, to be honest with you. The Mets always are the best team when it comes to April. After that, not so much. We haven't won the title since '86. We haven't been in the World Series since we played the Kansas City Royals. And before that, it was in 2000 against the evil empire, the New York Yankees. I can't stand them boys, but I appreciate and I love baseball, so all the respect due to them as well. So we'll talk about the excitement and the buzz between the new ownership with Steve Cohen, Sandy coming back and being the GM, Jacob deGrom being the best pitcher in baseball, hands down. A couple other things that we'll touch about with the New York Mets, and then we'll also discuss a little bit of NFL talk here on the show. If you haven't, click like, subscribe on all podcast platforms. We're also on all YouTube as well, Twitter, Instagram, you name it. The social media stuff has been great. I try to stay up to date with that stuff. It's a little bit overwhelming sometimes, it's just me handling it by myself. But actuality, I appreciate all the engagement, all the new followers, all the new support that we get. It's totally 100%. I'm totally grateful and humbled by it. We have a lot more listeners on the podcast and we do views on YouTube. Let's get those YouTube views up. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate the support. I support people. I'll show you love. You show me some love. And I appreciate everybody that's been with us from the beginning, from episode 1 of the EAC show. So we'll just get right into it and we'll start discussing a little bit about the NCAA. So the NCAA this weekend was just like atrocious. It was awful. It was so bad. Like I was sitting there taking beatings left and right. You have no idea. I mean, on Sunday alone, it was torturous. Like, it was just, I couldn't catch a break, Illinois -7, they lose. West Virginia, they lose. I had them game and money line, spread. I'm trying to think. Villanova, that was an L. Oklahoma State, that was an L. Oregon State ended up beating them boys. I was just taking L's left and right. I was getting beat up nonstop. And then Monday came along, and Monday was just amazing. Like Monday, I was on fire. I think the only mistake I made is I literally went against my own grain. I knew FSU was going to do their thing, but you know how you go throughout the day and you see or you speak to somebody and their mushness ends up rubbing off on you, so they're having a bad day almost in a sense, and it kind of messes you up in a sense. So it kind of messed up my train of thought. So I decided to go Colorado, who just had scored 90 freaking points the game before. And literally ain't getting shut down. FSU do their thing, and I'm getting pissed off because I'm like, damn, man, I had FSU winning that game. I literally would have went in that game because I took them money line and I took them with the spread +1, and I literally probably would have went 16-1 out of the 17 plays that I had that day in all actuality. So it would have been a really, really good day for me on Monday, even though it was not a bad day. But 16-1 sounds better than 14-3. But NCAA is going to be great this weekend. We got so many games, so much stuff to talk about, so many the things to deal with. Let me see if I can pull it up. You got to forgive me, guys. I'm still kind of new with this. I'm kind of vanilla when it comes to this stuff. So we got some NCAA stuff. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Let me see. Okay, I know I can't zoom. No problem. Let me see if I can move this out of the way. And then if I'm able to move this out of the way, okay, there it goes. Fine. So we got Gonzaga facing Creighton. We got USC versus Oregon, Michigan versus Florida State. trying to think. We got UCLA versus Alabama. On the other side, give me 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. Where did it go? Where'd you go? Okay, sorry. There it goes. We got Baylor versus Wisconsin. Baylor versus Villanova, sorry. Arkansas versus Oral Roberts. Loyola Chicago versus Oregon State. And Syracuse versus Houston. And that's basically going to be the brackets for this week coming up. And we're going to talk a little bit about the spreads of those games as well on that right now. You got to forgive me while I recenter this. I'm trying to do everything on my own today pretty much. So just bear with me. So on those lines, we got Oregon State and Loyola Chicago. Loyola Chicago's minus 6.5. I'm definitely going to take Oregon State plus the 6.5. I think they end up winning that game, so I might even take them money line as well. That plus 230 is really, really juicy. Loyola Chicago, they're tough, man. There's so many people out there talking about, oh, you shouldn't be gambling against a nun and Jesus and God and all that. Man, listen, give me the 6.5. We got Villanova versus Baylor. Baylor's minus 7.5. I'll probably take Villanova plus the points. We got Oral Roberts and Arkansas. Oral Roberts plus the points, man. Oral Roberts has scored a lot of points, so I'm going to take them plus the 11. We got Syracuse versus Houston. So I'm going to go with Cuse plus the 6.5. Creighton and Gonzaga. Give me Gonzaga minus the 13.5. Florida State and Michigan. Definitely going Michigan minus 2.5. I don't even mind taking the minus 140 money line. UCLA versus Alabama. Give me Alabama minus 6.5 in that game. And then we got Oregon and USC. I will definitely be taking USC minus the 2 in that game as well. So looking forward to all these NCAA games that are coming up this weekend to be able to have a lot of fun and enjoy. NCAA is really, really ups and downs. It's so emotional. You know, you get so invested in it. You know, people getting blown out. You're like, why the fuck is this happening? Why is this blowout killing me right now? I'm getting destroyed, and the game is 10 minutes into the game, you know? And this is what you get for betting on some amateurs, you know, because that's what they call them. I don't consider them that, but that's what they call them. Call them amateurs that are, you know, you're gambling money on amateurs almost in a sense. So that's what you get for doing that shit. So in all actuality, if it doesn't go your way, ain't nobody to blame but you. So the ups and downs of it is so great. Sometimes you get a buzzer beater, last second shot that covers your spread that has nothing to do with it. I forgot what game that was. That game, it really did happen. I think it was in the Ohio State game. It was in the Ohio State game where literally you had to cover the spread with that last second shot. So in all actuality, it's just like sometimes you go ups and sometimes you go down. So I'm so looking forward to what's going to end up happening this weekend with the NCAA tournament. And let's just try to make a lot of money. Let's really try to make a lot of fucking money. I don't care if you hit your book, you hit FanDuel, DraftKings, you hit I don't give a damn who you hit. Just let's just win. Put it that way. Let's just win. So now we're gonna get to the overall excitement on about the New York Mets, and not for nothing, guys. This is something that really, really touches my heart for my family, and the decisions looming for the Mets with the season near. So in all seriousness, there's a lot of talk because of the new ownership that we got big, deep pockets. Our owner, hands down, is the richest owner in Major League Baseball by a lot. Steve Cohen is super, super papered up. He got so much money, it's not even funny. And the good thing about it is that the New York Mets actually have an owner that is not looking to make bread off the team. He's literally a fan, and this is his toy, and he wants to have fun with it. And he's going to sit there and he's going to invest because he's a true fan, just like we are. And he wants to see the team do well, and so do we. We're tired of, watching our team be mediocre, or we fizzle out by, May and June, and the season's pretty much done for us, and we got to look forward to next year. So it feels actually good to have this buzz around the Mets. We do have the best pitcher in baseball, and Jacob deGrom, in my opinion. He should have won 3 Cy Youngs instead of 2. Trevor Bauer ended up getting him in a shortened COVID season, ended up winning the Cy Young. But for me, we have the best pitcher in baseball. For me also, I think Michael Conforto should be anointed once he signs his extension. Obviously, he should be anointed the captain, and I'll explain why. David Wright was our last captain. He was a great captain. Unfortunately for David, he had injuries that ended up shortening his career, a lot shorter than what a lot of people liked and what he would like as well. And sometimes you don't have to be a captain that's vocal. You know, it worked for Derek Jeter as well with the Yankees. He wasn't really that talkative. He just let his play do his talking. So for me, I think the minute Michael Conforto signs a deal, I think the New York Mets, Sandy Alderson, I think the manager should go to him and say, listen, we want you to be the captain of this team, because Conforto is the definition of a man that has been in our system, grown with us the whole way, and has literally done the job on the diamond. He has literally brung it every day that he could. You know, obviously he gets hurt and he gets a little bit scary, but he comes back, he bounces from it, and he ends up having a great year. So for me, I think Michael Conforto should be the captain of the New York Mets. So we got DeGrom, who's a stud pitcher. We got the captain situated. Now we got Frankie Lindor. Now, Francisco Lindor, I'm sorry, he likes to be called Francisco. Francisco Lindor is hands down one of the best shortstops in the league. And we were able to grab him. We sent Ahmed Rosario and Jimenez over to the Cleveland Indians. And we were able to grab Frankie. And Francisco. We were able to grab Francisco. And Francisco, we want to sign you. I think we will sign you. And I hope we sign you. But the Mets don't have to rush into anything. And I'll explain why. While we do have deep pockets, while we have no problem spending this money, because this money is pretty much nothing to our owner, we are going to spend it smartly. And Sandy Alderson is in his every right to do so. He's never really had a scenario where he's had pretty much a blank checkbook to sit there and say, oh, I can do whatever I want with this team. This is the perfect scenario for him, to be able to spend money and bring in talent. He doesn't have to overspend if he doesn't want to. If Francisco Lindor doesn't want to take the terms that we deem or we feel that it's worth it, or we can't find the middle ground, hey, go ahead, go test free agency. There's going to be Javier Baez, Trevor Story. There's going to be so many shortstops on the market that we're going to have to be able to talk to and sit there and say, hey, listen, come over here, you know? It might not work out. You know, Francisco, we want to pay you. It's not like we don't want to pay you. We would love to pay you, you know? But it has to make sense. And the Mets are in a perfect situation to where if you don't want to take this money right now, that's fine, because there's going to be 3 or 4 other guys that ain't going to have no problem coming to play with Jacob deGrom, Pete Alonso, Brandon Nimmo, J.D. Davis. There's going to be plenty of players that are not going to have a problem coming to the New York Mets, and with the deep pockets that the New York Mets going to have. So for me, I think the opening day lineup to start off with, I think obviously we'll start with the catcher, who's going to be James McCann, even though Thomas Nido is Jacob deGrom's personal catcher. That's factual. Thomas Nido is basically the reason why, Jacob deGrom is the reason why Thomas Nido has a job. So for me, James McCann will start opening day, and then as the season goes along, maybe we see a little bit of a shift, but James McCann will be the opening day catcher. At first base, you got Pete Alonso. Second base, Jeff McNeil, even though he has a couple errors here and there during spring training. Shortstop, Francisco Lindor. Third base, J.D. Davis. Left field is going to be Dominic Smith, in my opinion. And Brandon Nimmo in center field, who's having a really, really hot spring. And obviously our captain, our compadre, El Capitan, in my opinion, Michael Conforto in right field. Beautiful matchup. Opening day between Jacob deGrom and Matt Scherzer. 7 o'clock start. Can't wait to hear Gary Keefe and the boys. My whole family is going to be in Met Blue without question, because this is something that just, there's nothing like opening day. Nothing. I don't care what sport you enjoy or watch or whatever it may be. There's nothing like opening day baseball. The feeling of opening day baseball is just, it's just traditional. It's 100% the most American thing that you can do is watch opening day baseball on opening day. So I'm definitely looking forward to the Mets on opening day and seeing what these guys can do. And I want to start winning some meaningful games and be in the playoffs, because that's what everybody wants to see. Listen, the Yankees have won 27 titles, I think. 27, if I'm not mistaken. 27 championships. The city of New York is completely different when the Mets win. And I'll explain to you why. Because when the Mets win, it's the actual people of New York. It's the workers. It's the people that are cooking your food in the restaurant in the back. Those are the people that are true Met fans. The Yankee fans, the majority of them, they're from like Connecticut or like, upstate New York and stuff like that, New Jersey or whatever, you know what I mean? The only really true fans are the bleacher bums. The bleacher bums, those are the people that are true New Yorkers when it comes to the New York Yankees. But when it comes to Citi Field and Shea Stadium, man, that atmosphere is totally different. It feels like a college. Taking the 7 train to go watch the Mets play, and it's just totally different. When the Mets win, the buzz in the city is completely different. And yes, it also has to do with the fact that it doesn't happen too often for us, but that is true. So it's a little bit more organic. The Yankee fans are a little bit more spoiled and pampered, where we are more appreciative and humbled by winning championships. So looking forward to the Mets doing their thing this year, and let's go fucking Mets. Seriously, let's go fucking Mets. And transitioning now to NFL talk on this episode 121 of the EAC Show. And if you haven't yet, please, once again, click like, subscribe on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. The engagement on social media has been tremendous. The NFL stuff, man. Look, I saw a couple things that's been going on, and this whole Deshaun Watson situation and trying to absolutely kill his character is crazy. Now, sexual assault, I mean, if it happens and it's real, then, by all means, just, do what you got to do, to the extent of the state getting involved, if they get involved, or if you handle it civilly, it is what it is. If there's any truth to the matter. But we've seen this happen before. We've seen this happen to the great Brett Favre. We've even seen this happen to one of the owners in the NFL, Robert Kraft. So in all actuality, depending on the severity and how serious some of these cases are based off the evidence that can be provided, this might be something that might end up being handled out of court. Brett Favre stuff got thrown underneath the rug. Robert Kraft stuff pretty much got thrown underneath the rug. So if they still take the same approach, unless some new evidence comes out, I think Deshaun Watson is still going to end up playing football. And you can tell by some of the interest that has been shown for him through trades. People are looking forward to trying to get Deshaun in the building. So in all actuality, I think it's kind of messed up that he's in this situation. And I hope he comes out okay on the other side. In all actuality, he's a hell of a football player. But if there's any truth to this, and it's that bad to where he's being called a sexual predator and stuff like that, I think things need to be taken into consideration and handled properly. The other situation with the other quarterback, Russell Wilson, this is getting crazy. Private meetings in North Dakota, because North Dakota has different rules of social distancing with Seattle and the Chicago Bears meeting there, and then them not being able to work out a deal based off all the draft picks and the players to be named in order to trade for Russell. And you know what? They said, fuck it. And they ended up settling on Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle. The Red Rifle ended up being the Chicago Bears quarterback. He's going to be their quarterback. He's going to be their starter over there in Chicago. That's crazy to me. I mean, literally, they tried to give up so much for one player, and they still couldn't get the job done. So Seattle must feel like they really do need Russell Wilson, and they can't get rid of him, so they're just going to keep him. Just like in a divorce, where some people say, it's always better to keep your wife than divorce her. So, actually, I think the Seattle Seahawks think that it's better to let Russ cook than play against Russ and probably see him in the playoffs or some type of shit. So, New England spending a lot of money. Congratulations to them. They haven't spent that type of money in God knows how long. So, I saw a Robert Kraft statement come out and say that, we're in the business to win. Dude, you just literally just spent more money you've ever spent in your whole career as a New England Patriots owner. So shout out to you. Hat tip to you. I'm trying to think about what else is going on in the NFL. I see the Giants are spending money. People are criticizing them because they just feel like they're spending money unnecessarily. My team, the Jets, are being criticized because they feel like we're just getting a bunch of stopgap guys, not for nothing. We don't even know who our quarterback is. That's what they're saying. Look, at the end of the day, the game's got to be played on the field regardless of who you have as players. Sometimes teams overachieve and they get it done, and sometimes teams don't. Like, for example, I saw statistics that show that the Jacksonville Jaguars and the New York Jets are the two teams that have spent the most money in free agency in the past couple years, and we haven't amounted to shit. So in all actuality, when you spend money, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. So, you still got to play the games in between the lines, and you got to win them. So I saw the Indianapolis Colts sign T.Y. Hilton. Congratulations to him. I saw he came out and he said on the Pat McAfee show, and if you guys don't watch that, make sure you go check that out. Pat does an amazing job with him and A.J. Hawk and the boys and his guests that come on. And T.Y. was basically explaining how he actually took less money to stay in Indianapolis than go with the Baltimore Ravens. He said he would have made more money the day he signed than the whole contract that he signed with the Indianapolis Colts, which was a 1-year, $8 million deal. So, and it was kind of funny, this situation, because he said as soon as he hung up with the GM, he got a text message from the owner, and he knew right away that was the sign that he needed to stay in Indianapolis. So, congratulations to T.Y. Hilton and him continuing his career in Indianapolis. A lot of stuff in the NFL, man. Real talk. A lot of stuff happening. A lot of people happy. A lot of people unhappy. I think people should just be grateful for what they have. Like down here in sunny South Florida, whole bunch of rumblings about what the Miami Dolphins aren't doing and why they're not going after somebody else other than Tua. Man, relax. Calm down. Tua didn't even have a full fucking season to be able to prepare to play football games because of COVID. So just chill out. Let homie do his thing. He looks like he's going to be really fucking good. You guys don't have not one player on your roster over 30 years old. I love Flores as a coach. Let them do them. Let them rock, man. Stop. Just, relax. Chill. Chill for a minute. You guys won 10 fucking games. You know how... I would love to fucking win 10 games. Cut the man some slack. Relax. You missed the playoff by, this much. Chill the fuck out. In all actuality, there's other teams that, that are spending a ridiculous amount of money. They ain't showing shit worth of spit. Look at the Las Vegas Raiders. Excuse me. I keep calling them Oakland. Look at the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, fucking John Gruden ain't doing that too good with all his situation that's going on, and he's getting paid a ton. Why don't you go down his throat? He got talent, he got players, he got money, and he ain't doing a motherfucking thing. So there's different situations in the NFL that are better than others. The Miami Dolphins, you guys, just chillax a little bit. You guys are going to be okay. I'm trying to think. The worst fucking division, if the fucking Dallas Cowboys don't win the NFC East this year, you guys fucking atrocious. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I mean, really, you got the Washington football team, even though they got Ryan Fitzmagic now. Fitzmagic in the beard, that boy's, he's the truth. But if you guys don't win that division, you got a serious problem. Oh, congratulations to Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones ended up getting a new deal over in Green Bay. I think they're going to do some restructuring with Aaron Rodgers to see if they can get a new deal for him up in, they can free up some money up in Green Bay as well. I'm trying to think what else was happening over this weekend in the NFL. But I mean, listen, in all actuality, I'm so excited what's coming up soon in the NFL with the new season, with all the movement and this, that, and third. Jameis Winston's finally going to get a chance to be the quarterback over in New Orleans. I think he's going to do amazing with Sean Payton. I think he's going to be really good. And they're the only ones that are really going to compete against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because that's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers division, in my opinion, with Tom Brady and the boys. They signed fucking everybody. They brung back the whole crew. I think the only person they haven't brung back yet, or two people they haven't brung back yet, is Fournette and AB. And in some way, shape, or form, they're figuring out to get one of them, at least one of them back, at least. In my opinion, I think AB ends up going back. Fournette probably end up somewhere else, in my opinion. But I'm looking forward to watching this NFL season and seeing what ends up going on. Last episode, I wanted to touch this real quick. Last episode, on episode 120, the title of the episode is "Should Athletes Take Their Earnings in a Portion of Their Earnings in Bitcoin?" And the reason why I decided to bring that up was because Russell Okung, shout out to Russell Okung. Russell Okung took a portion of his $13 million salary, which is about half. He took about $6.5 million, and he made sure that the Carolina Panthers paid him in Bitcoin. Now, if Russell Okung didn't cash out that amount right now is above $21 million, that half that the Carolina Panthers end up having to give him. Now, the reason why I say that some of these players that are well off should take some of their money or their earnings in Bitcoin is because the earnings that that the team pays you, they come out on the 1st and the 15th, so they're already taxed, and the team pays the taxes for you. So this is a net income. When the team pays you that net income in Bitcoin, yes, there is the probability that it might fluctuate. It goes ups and down or whatever it may be. But you do not have to pay the capital gains on that until you cash it out. So in all actuality, if Russell Okung had the $6.5 million that the Carolina Panthers had to give him in Bitcoin, which was half of his salary for that year, which they have to do contractually, they paid him that. That amount was given to him after taxes. Then, if Russell Okung kept that money in an exchange or in a hard wallet or whatever it may be, and it grew to where it is right now, it would be worth $21 million. I promise you, Russell Okung will have no problem paying the taxes on the capital gains from the $6.5 million to the $21 million. No player would. No player would have a problem with it. So when I brought up the title of whether athletes should take a portion of their earnings in Bitcoin, it's because the athletes already know that there's that possibility that it might go down. But you're not in it for that. You're in it for the win. You're in it for the long haul. So almost in a sense, that $6.5 million that he would have gotten in Bitcoin had he just held it and it grew, it's ridiculous amount of money. Even if you take $1 million and you do it just $1 million or $500,000 or $300,000 in Bitcoin of your earnings, whatever it may be, millions of dollars that you make playing the game of football, basketball, baseball, hockey, whatever it is, tennis, golf, whatever sport you play, however you get it. Even if fucking gambling, even if it's gambling, you take a portion of it and you literally just hold on to it. The probability of Bitcoin going up is highly likely over time. So if you end up winning in some way, shape, or form and you want your earnings to grow as much, I would say take a portion of it in Bitcoin in order to see that growth. That's all I was saying. I mean, I got a lot of flack over it because people were like, yo, what the fuck you mean? They could lose it. You can lose anything. You could lose any. I'm not sitting there telling you to take all your money. If you make $10,000 in a month, I'm not telling you to take the $10,000 you make and put it all in Bitcoin. No. Be smart about it. Take what you're willing. You say, hey, I could risk this. I can lose this. Consider it lost already the minute you invested. Just say, hey, fuck it. Let's see what happens. That's all it is. So that was the only thing that I was trying to say in the last episode. But I'm glad I got the reaction I got because I was able to have a lot of discussions. And sometimes, not for nothing, a lot of people like to have these discussions with me off social or off the show. Yo, listen, man, come on here. We'll chop it up. We'll talk. I have no problem discussing this with you. I don't want to be about a debate. You could be right. I could be right. You could be wrong. I could be wrong. I don't want to go this whole back and forth shit. That shit works for Skip and that shit works for Stephen A. I'm not trying to do all that shit, real talk. So in all actuality, I'm just here to have fun, enjoy myself, and make sure everybody else is having a good time as well. So that's going to conclude episode 121 of the EAC Show. Once again, make sure you click, like, subscribe on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. Make sure you hit the like button because it helps out with the engagement. Make sure you check us out on Instagram and on Twitter. And like I said, I'm looking forward to the NCAA March Madness this weekend on the Sweet 16. And I'm also looking forward to opening day, which is April 1st, 7:40, New York Mets versus the Washington Nationals. Jacob deGrom versus Max Scherzer. Make sure you check it out. And we'll check you out episode 122. Take care, guys. Have a good night.